Finalists to you.
Time for the first of 5 apparatus finals of the men's vault to get us underway.
Yulo.
And we're better placed to start than with the top performer in the preliminary round, Carlos Yulo of the Philippines, the champion on floor and the all-around silver medalist.
On the vault is Kim Jae-ho, representing the Republic of Korea.
He'll be followed by the second best performer in qualification, Kim Jae-ho from the Republic of Korea, 20-year-old undergraduate at the Korea National Sports University.
Representing Malaysia is Muhammad Sharul Aimi.
Muhammad Sharul Aimi of Malaysia, fourth best in qualification, part of the team that won a bronze at the Southeast Asian Games earlier this year. Abdulaziz Mirvaliev of Uzbekistan, the third best in qualification. He's the reigning South Central Asian champion on vault. In as the first reserve, Miguel Bessana of the Philippines, the reigning Southeast Asian Games champion on vault. Yugampon Sorintonta of Thailand, the gymnast who won the silver medal at the Southeast Asian Games, just behind Miguel Bessana, but he comes in as the sixth best in qualification. And Kembayar Usukbayar of Mongolia, the eighth best in qualification, representing a nation that's never won a medal at the Asian Championships. And the final gymnast from Hong Kong, Nkaki, the seventh best in qualification, the gymnast who was the first reserve for the Paris World Cup final in the vaulting competition last year. So those are your 8 gymnasts that have made it through to the vaulting competition at the Asian Championships at the OCBC Arena in Singapore. Great to have your company wherever in the world you're joining the action from today, and however much of the championships you've seen so far, and whatever time of day or night it is for you, whether you're watching this in a time zone that's pretty comparable to Singapore, where it's just gone beyond 2 p.m. in the afternoon, or whether it's a very different time of the day for you. Great to have you with us. My name's Olly Hogben, and I'll be taking you through all of the 5 finals today. Fascinating championships it has been so far. The junior competition was the first thing that took place at the start of the week, and now we're in the last day of senior competition. In the men's events, the team title was won by the People's Republic of China. Japan took second place, and Kazakhstan were the bronze medalists. Japan were victorious in the individual all-around competition, with Orka Shinosuke winning the gold medal. It was a silver medal for Carlos Yulo, the gentleman who we're looking at as the top qualifier here in this vaulting final, and Kitazono Takeru, the teammate of Orka, and indeed the club teammate of Yulo, won the bronze medal. Remarkable situation where the top 3 performers in the all-around competition all know each other from a domestic level, with Yulo being based in Japan. And Yulo went on to take the men's floor title, ahead of Kazakhstan's Dmitry Patinin, and a long way ahead of him he was too. Su Weide of the People's Republic of China took bronze. A great pommel horse final was won by Kazakhstan's Nariman Kurbanov, ahead of the World Championship silver medalist Ahmad Abu Al-Soud of Jordan, and Tsumura Ryota of Japan won the bronze, which leaves us just with the rings. And Xingyu of the People's Republic of China won the title. It was Nguyen Van Cang Phong of Vietnam who won silver, and Ng Kyu Chung of Hong Kong who took the bronze. So 3 finals to come today: vault, parallel bars and the horizontal bar, and we also have the women's balance beam and floor titles. We'll talk more about the women's competition in due course. But what of this vault final? Well, the top qualifier, Carlos Yulo, the only gentleman that we're going to see in this final who produced two 5.6 difficulty vaults in the preliminary round. And that's rather significant because Jae-ho, who was due to be in this final, is not competing. He also had two 5.6 difficulty vaults. So unless we see something different from qualification, we may well do, then we're in an interesting position where Carlos Yulo could be quite handsomely the front runner already just on difficulty cushion alone. So time to begin any moment now.
And performing his first vault is Carlos Yulo of Philippines.
Carlos Yulo, top performer in qualification with a 14.833 average. About 3/10 of cushion ahead of the rest of the pack. Oh, and he's actually had some problems there. Interesting. Oh, Carlos Yulo, beautiful in flight as he always is. Just coming out of the pike position, quite a compressed landing. Now that was a vault that scored 14.866 in qualification. Difficult vault, the Blanik.
Performing his second vault is Carlos Yulo of Philippines.
Now for the second vault for Carlos Yulo. We'll have a look at that first number in just a moment or two. Better there, certainly. But it has made the dynamic of this men's vault final rather interesting. Beautiful line, very central, well executed. His second vault in qualification was a 14.8. Next to go, it will be the second best in qualification. Jae-ho will certainly have a feeling that this one has now opened up for him. 13.966 Yulo's score for the first vault, so that is 0.9 down from qualification.
Our next finalist represents the Republic of Korea. He is Jae-ho.
Well, we'll bring you the numbers for Carlos Yulo just as soon as we have them. Now we go to Jae-ho of the Republic of Korea. Oh, what a nice beginning to his vault final. What a nice beginning. Now just back to Carlos Yulo, 14.633 for the second vault, so that gives Yulo an average of 14.299, so that is a drop of over half a mark from qualification. That's once again that first vault mark for Carlos Yulo. So the two marks, 13.966 and 14.633. Very compelling start from Kim Jae-ho, the 20-year-old who made his debut at the World Championships last year.
Performing his second vault once again is Kim Jae-ho from the Republic of
Very
Korea.
real prospect here after that 14.333, which was his second vault in qualification. So he started with the lesser difficulty vault. He's got a prospect of going into the lead. Now that's interesting. He actually was making a choice there, I think, to go for lesser difficulty than in qualification, to capitalise on the execution. Just looking at the Schufelt vault on that occasion. So suddenly, the top two performers in the preliminary round experiencing some struggles. And what does that do for the likes of this gentleman coming up next? Mohamed Sharul Aimi, the fourth best in qualification for Abdulaziz Mirvaliev, the third best in qualification. Suddenly, this whole competition is very open, unexpectedly so perhaps.
And our next finalist represents Malaysia. He is Mohamed Sharul Aimi.
Mohamed Sharul Aimi, the 20-year-old from Terengganu in Malaysia, fourth best in qualification. Twice a bronze medalist at the Southeast Asian Games. Very nice young gymnast. And he too has difficulties. The Roche sat down. That's the fourth best in qualification. This remarkable vault competition. So Kim Jae-ho, just to confirm, 13.2 for his second vault. So already he'd made the decision to sacrifice 4/10 of difficulty from qualification. 13.766 his score. So Yulo still leads after the first two. Mohamed Sharul Aimi, another gymnast with two 5.2 difficulty vaults.
Performing his second vault is Mohamed Sharul Aimi, representing Malaysia.
933. Score for the Malaysian, for the Roche. And his second vault. Much better from Mohamed Sharul Aimi. He will probably find himself out of contention in what has become a fascinating vault final, and you have to feel for this great young gymnast. He was so good in qualification, beautiful execution. Well, I did speak a little too soon when I said they haven't won a medal at the Asian Championships. It's in a generation they haven't won a medal. Mohamed Sharul Aimi, following in the footsteps of his hero, Shu Wai, who won the vault silver in 2006 at the Asian Games. So they have won continental medals. At an Asian Championship level, 14.3 the score for a very nice second vault.
And our next finalist represents Uzbekistan. He is Abdulaziz Mirvaliev.
The third best in qualification, Abdulaziz Mirvaliev of Uzbekistan, the 22-year-old from Tashkent, the reigning South Central Asian champion on vault. What can he do? An authoritative beginning from Mirvaliev, and he might have put himself into the front runner's position after that display. Ahmed Shahrul Aimi with an average of 13.617. He goes into third place. So it is Yulo, Kim and Aimi. For how much longer? Valiev has been in and around
and performing his
the top 10 the World Cup circuit this season.
From Uzbekistan.
And he starts with 14.666. Now that's the most difficult thing we saw from him in qualification. Oh, he wasn't that far away, but not there. Now that was for Mirvaliev, an attempt to upgrade. Just hope he's all right, because he did sit down rather unpleasantly. It's just so difficult to get out of the height position and to successfully rotate and land this vault.
Our remaining 4 vault finalists, may begin your moment.
Once again, the Blahnik vault that we saw from Carlos Yulo. So Mirvaliev, by my count, was looking at an upgrade from qualification, because he produced a 5.6 and a 5.2. But he also has had difficulties. So at the halfway mark of this vault final, we are yet to have a gymnast completely cleanly land 2 vaults. And if you are now one of these reserves coming in, like Pancho Miguel Bessana, you've got to be dreaming of an extremely unlikely moment. 13.6 for the second vault of Mirvaliev. Just bring you the average in the standings in a moment or two. So he goes into the silver medal position, Abdulaziz Mirvaliev, 14.083. Therefore, at the halfway mark, Yulo, Mirvaliev and Kim. Now, we still have to come in this vaulting competition the 6th best, Tikkaporn Surintonta of Thailand. We've got Kembayar Usukbayar of Mongolia, the 8th best. Ki of Hong Kong, the 7th best. And then the 9th best in as the first reserve, Pancho Miguel Bessana of the Philippines. From a difficulty point of view, Carlos Yulo is still well positioned. Mirvaliev as well, by virtue of upgrading his difficulty by 4/10 from qualification. He's also up there in second place. But of the gymnasts still to come, there's certainly the possibility of someone like Bessana, of Surintonta, of Ki getting in and around the medals. It might be trickier for Kembayar Sukbayar from a difficulty standpoint, but we'll come back to that in a moment.
Our next vault finalist represents Philippines. He is Pancho Miguel Bessana.
Juancho Miguel Bessana, the 19-year-old from Pasig City on the eastern border with Metro Manila in the Philippines. The reigning Southeast Asian Games champion on vault, in as the first reserve. And he too has had a difficult final. He did so well at the SEA Games to win the vault title and also take a team silver medal. That was after being the bronze medalist on vault in 2021. Really is such a tense vault final, this.
Performing his second vault is Jae-ho from Philippines.
13.533, so he too puts in an upgrade from qualification. It doesn't quite pay off. 5.2 difficulties in the preliminary round. Oh, he was a little offline in the shoe felts. A bounce landing, had that problem in the preliminary round as well, but the execution was better. He said that he is dreaming, absolutely dreaming of following in the footsteps of the great Carlos Yulo and becoming an Olympian. These championships are of such importance to so many of the gymnasts, as we confirm that 13.533 for the first vault. These championships vital for so many gymnasts in terms of their world championship qualification hopes. With the World Championships in Antwerp fundamental for gaining safe passage to the Olympiad in Paris. Waiting to go is Tukumpon Surintonta.
Next finalist represents Thailand. He is Tukumpon Surintonta.
25-year-old Tukumpon Surintonta, who's competed at 4 World Championships. As Bessana goes into 5th position on 13.417 as an average. And another fault that doesn't quite work. This time it was over rotated. His attempt at the roche. The gymnast who was the runner-up at the Southeast Asian Games earlier this year, just as he was in 2021, or the delayed 2021 Games. Just comes down quite compressed, almost on the knees. He has a collection of 6 medals, 4 of them silver, 2 bronze at the SEA Games. He's a graduate of sports science from the Institute of Physical Education, Sukhothai. Huge fan of association football, like created this final, Muhammad Sharul Aimi of Malaysia. .233 for the first vault. He's better in the second, like a lot of people have been in this final. Seen some of the Samatsu 1.5 vaults executed pretty tidily. The Roches have been problematic, the Blahniks have been problematic. And that takes us to the standings so far. The score to come in for Timumpon Surintonta. And just 2 to go. Well, what's he got to surprise us?
And our next finalist represents Mongolia. He is Ekhembayar Usukbayar.
Ekhembayar Usukbayar of Mongolia, the 8th best in qualification, 21-year-old. Very elegant vaulting in qualification. Little adjustment for stability, but strong performance, not putting in the sort of difficulty that we've seen from others. .1 for Surintonta's Kasamatsu 1.5. So that has him on 13.667. He has regrettably just missed out on the place on the leaderboard. So it is still Yulo, Mirvaliev and Kim, 1, 2 and 3. 13.766, the gatekeeping score for a medal. And we'll know a lot about his chances in just a moment, because the vault that we saw from him there was the most difficult in qualification. Second vault for Ekhembayar Usukbayar. Now, 13.966 was the score for the first vault, which is a 10th down from qualification. That vault, nothing like the complexity of the first. His combined score in qualification was 13.666, so he just needs a 1/10 improvement to get onto the podium. The issue is he's just dropped a 10th with the first vault. Could be quite tight. And we have got one gymnast to come who's very much in contention. And one just wonders what's going through the mind right now of Unka Ki, Hong Kong.
And our last finalist,
that is the lay of the land.
Hong Kong, China. He is Unka Ki.
That confirmed score in a minute for Ekhembayar. Now to Unka Ki of Hong Kong, 7th best in qualification. And he also has found this a challenge of a final. Ekhembayar has gone into 5th place with 13.633, so just over a 10th out from medal contention. 13.3 the score for his second vault. Now, interestingly, Unka Ki could still find himself very much in contention for a place on the podium. From a difficulty standpoint,
performing his second vault once again is Unka Ki from Hong Kong, China.
second vault. And he landed and landed well. Just about held on to that roche. And that could be very interesting indeed. 13.366 for the first vault. attempting, I believe, the Lou vault. There's a Roche.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes.
Will be, he's just going to be slightly priced out of things.
Once again, let's give it up for the both finalists for their spectacular performance today.
13.583 for Nkaki, so that has him in 7th place. But if you look at the gap between 7th and 3rd, very close, and it means that despite having some issues with his first vault, Carlos Yulo of the Philippines has won a 2nd gold medal of the Asian Championships of 2023. Kim Jae-ho of the Republic of Korea takes the silver medal, the bronze medal even, and Abdulaziz Mirvaliev of Uzbekistan, he wins the silver. Let's have a look back at how Carlos Yulo went about winning the title. The victory ceremony in the men's vault competition at the 2023 Artistic Gymnastics Asian Championships, hosted by Singapore, taking place at the OCBC Arena.
Representing the Republic of Korea is Kim Jae-ho.
The bronze medal goes to Kim Jae-ho of the Republic of Korea, his first ever international honours. The undergraduate at the Korea National Sport University, a bronze medalist at the Asian Championships.
Second place and winner of the silver medal, representing Uzbekistan, Abdulaziz.
A gymnast taking regional success and turning it into continental success. Abdulaziz Mirvaliev of Uzbekistan, the South Central Asian champion on vault, now at full Asian level, is the silver medalist.
Vault champion and winner of the gold medal, representing Philippines, Yulo.
Defending his Asian title on vault, the world champion from 2021, Carlos Yulo of the Philippines. Thoroughly successful day for him. This was the start of it all. We'll have the national anthem of the Philippines. The medalists in the men's vault competition at the Asian Championships.
Thank you to our men's vault medalists.
And we'll proceed to the next of the 5 ceremonies in just a moment.